followed in my imagination by a store to go down the open corridors together in our solitary fancy, tasting artichokes, possessing every frozen delicacy and never passing the cashier. Where are we going, Walt Whitman? The doors close in an hour. Which way does your beard point tonight? I touched your book and dream of our odyssey in the supermarket and feel absurd. Will we walk all night through solitary streets? The trees add shade to shade, lights out in the houses. We'll both be lonely. Will we stroll dreaming of the lost America of love past blue automobiles and driveways, home to our silent cottage? Ah, dear father, graybeard, lonely old courage teacher, what America did you have when Sharon quit poling his ferry and you got out on a smoking bank and stood watching the boat disappear on the black waters of midnight? Nice. Are you waving at somebody?
No, I started Facebook Live down here.
Oh.
Can you bring me up on your Facebook?
Yeah?
Bring up the live and like go over there and see if you can hear me through it. Like put the phone to your ear and see if you can even hear me. It should say Tony's gone live if you go to my page.
There?
Yeah, put in Tony Plocido. Plocido. And if you go to my page, it should say I'm live.
Tony Plocido's live now.
Okay. And if you go on that, let me know if you can put it up to your ear. You can hear me through that? No problem? All right, cool. I'm going to read a piece called Set the Warriors by Anis Mogani. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. We're here at the Sculpture Garden in Minneapolis, practicing social distancing and reading poetry to whoever walks by. All right. Set the warriors to sea in a ship with stacks of shields, layers of gold, mountains of swords. Set them to sea with their livestock, with the whole farm. Lay them out with their wife, with their child. The rains are not here yet. They are not coming, not today. Today the gods are welcoming one of their own back home. So set the hero out on the way. I got yelled at. No, I don't think that was me.
I touched the sculpture.
Okay. Where was I? Set the hero out on the waves that will bring him to the soft lands on the other side of the pink ether. He will float on fire until the ash consumes him, like the mighty field he was and the legend he will become. The flames will dance upon his possessions, his belts and blankets, his goblets and arrows, his paintings, his passions. The flames will dance, spreading themselves across the flesh like the fingers of the soft lover he left as he sleeps in his last sleep. And as the fires eat him away, the heat will write his skin across the clouds to join the constellations that will guide the sailors to storm, the herders lost in the clouds, and they will all come home by following the direction his eyes are facing. The sky is filled with smoke. This is history. This is legend. This is what the stories are made from, what we once were. When you fall in battle, they will take your corpse with the life you made in this world, and they will set it out and to sail with you into the next one. So that you will be king, remain forever golden being as you breathe on this side of the mountain. When you die, your life will follow you like a shadow into the light. Forget that. When I die, bury me with nothing but my skin. Who wants this world interrupting the next one? I spent my whole life trying to outrun this thing called mine. If I set myself into your soft arms, would you hold me like the quiet earth? Would you? I am yours. I am you. Give me a mountain. Give me an open field, a big sky. Give me your mouth. I'm looking for a quiet place I could die in. This is Susan.
Hi, I'm Susan Cossette. I probably know most of you guys. Yes, as Tony said, we are standing here practicing social distancing in the Minneapolis Sculpture Garden. Small children are fleeing from us. This is a poem of mine. It's called Joyride. I've flown before, but never been the pilot. Wedged into a small economy class seat, eating tiny bags of salted peanuts anesthetized with small bottles of Chardonnay in a plastic cup. I regard the clouds, indifference, while the men in the cockpit dictate my safe ascent and descent. After 3 glasses of wine, it hits me. Cockpit. The sealed control room full of men. I laugh sadly. Don't they let women fly? I didn't know what to expect when I boarded the plane. I've flown before but never been the pilot. It was time. They didn't see it coming. It was wrong. I knew it was wrong, but I did it anyway. It was easier than I thought to become a hijacker. Once you cross that line, there's no changing your mind. I didn't know what to expect when I boarded. I've flown before, but now I am the pilot. Got that bird's nose up, gasping at the exhilaration of the speed, the sudden lift. Not for you, or them, or anyone. Not even when they scrambled the fighter jets or when the air traffic controller tried to talk me down. I swirled and circled, did barrel rolls and loop-the-loops. Ladies, gentlemen, this is not an air show. This is the real deal. There were a lot of people that cared for me. It's going to disappoint them. I apologize, but I am just a broken girl. Got a few screws loose, I guess. Nobody really knew it until now. The fuel will run low, but I recite poems aloud and know the flight recorder captures every sound. They will be found, smoking, hissing, crackling, and rising through the sunlit leaves amidst the smoldering wreckage of my joyride. And I don't know who's there, but hey, everyone.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how many you actually know. And,
I know Charlie's on. Hi, Charlie.
Charlie's on. Scott from the bookstore is on.
I don't know Scott from the bookstore. Hi, Scott. I'll come in and visit you once we're not socially distanced.
At Eat My Words, the owner.
Oh, yeah, they do curbside. That's what Klecko said.
Yeah. Scott's a cool guy. All right.
Oh, no, Subtext did curbside for me.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Klecko's over in St. Paul.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to read from one of my own books. It's called Aging and Other Side Projects. I know it's backwards. I know the light's behind me, and I know you probably can't see, and all of these things, I don't care. This is a poem I wrote with Prim 1 in Kansas City. If you don't know Prim 1 in Kansas City, you got to look him up, because he's amazing. This is a poem we wrote together called Breathing the Story. I long to tell stories that will breathe when I cannot, that dance when my feet fail me, that sing in notes only known to those who have felt my love, that will remember love when the word has forgotten it, that will form over the wounds of the broken like the fresh flesh mending them, that will tell us to be willing to try and fail again at a moment's notice, even if only for the hopes to bleed less and heal sooner in the future. Stories that will finally sit down and play with that inner child, the one who is very smart, if not a bit overzealous. That will shine in the caverns of my mind so that I may see the moral and understand its intent, that will file down the edges of my political leanings. There is beauty in gray, even for the colorblind. There is a break of daylight, even in the darkest times when our daydreams are courting our nightmares, during the hours when we spent, let me start that line over. When our daydreams are courting with our nightmares, during hours we once spent in slumber peacefully, these stories will be our lullabies. They will speak clear and soft to mute our screams of war, laying us gently in our beds of irony. There are stories where the words are so beautiful, we forget about the existence of pictures and movies and light. These stories are told by the ancients through modern tongues. They have the longing that makes us remember we have not all we want. The search is the universe. It's infinite. It's expanding. There are stories in the stars that we ignore every night of our lives. But if we reach out to touch these brittle pages above us, would they rip in our hands? Would they understand the language in which they were written? I wish for my stories to help translate these novels of hope, to meditate for my family extended. I long to tell stories that will breathe when I cannot, that breathe before I could, for the conflict only comes from misunderstanding. They suffocate the sound until silence is the only tale left. Unfortunately, silence can only hold comfort, but it can also substitute meaning for intent. Silence splinters through our sentences unwelcome, but we will always wrap us in its arms when we are alone, when our words and our world, no matter how colossal or minuscule, have abandoned us. I want my stories to embrace silence as it has embraced us, to kiss its cheek as it has kissed ours, to return the favors of forgiveness it has shown us, no matter how deserving we were of its grace. And as the silence breathes forever, so will these stories, even when I cannot.
Wow. Okay. Okay, let me see. This is going to be...
Go right there.
This is a poem of mine. This is called Eternal Wisdom. Be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. When you get it, you may not want it. Then you live with the consequences. You will have to want it anyway. Just saying. I got this. It's not what I expected, but I will never give anyone the satisfaction of uttering those 4 words. I told you so. Don't make that face. It will stay that way. The world throws its grenades. You will scowl and glower. You were much prettier when you were 16, page boy, hair, monogram sweater, staring wide-eyed at my camera. Pure cipher, shackled vessel. I can live with my crinkled nose, scalp of disdain. Botox fixes the lines. A shot every 6 months wipes the slate clean until the next time. No one buys the cow if they can get the milk for free. Hey, but what if the dude is lactose intolerant? He was, it turned out, vastly intolerant of me. So, Mama, am I off the hook? Can I rejoin the herd unscathed and unbranded? I took my name back. I sign it on every credit card receipt I can. You get more flies with honey than vinegar. Work your honey, honey. Smile, nod, and march in line like your life depends on it. It really does. You have no more second tries. Every action has a reaction. Every shard of karma you've hurled, every act of love, of hurt, of light, the decades of obligation, it all tells you this is the final round. You won't fuck this up. Eternal wisdom.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to do one. Sure.
I don't want to see. Is it? So, continue, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We got some.
But you got to come closer because otherwise the wind's going to take the mic too much.
Okay.
And I would go a little bit that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This one's called The Divide. A lot of you have heard me do this one a bunch of times, but I don't care. If I wasn't at the start, it must not have began the stand that would band man together with his goat named Scape. The nape of my neck is sweaty. I bet he's thinking about me, hoping I believe what needs to be believed so that this point comes across the divide where on one side there's a tide of the mind that believes there's motion in this ocean. Self-righteous teachings and pacifistic thought, all caught in a wave that doesn't cease. Peace. The far side is a far cry from peace, love, and good little children. It spills them over into the wrong side of their head, teaching them pride for the dead, teaching them fight for the bread, teaching them all the wrong shit, and it ain't getting better. You think you can just do whatever and the world will grow? Oh, this bridge has got to come down. It's built on stilts deep in the ground, and the sound still resonates with the hate the workers left with every hole they dug. And the tug of my heart's a start. At least it means I feel. You want me to float in the middle, but your fiddle's playing a sad song, and the problem is, it's too long. War is not the answer, it's the cancer that grows off the blows men tend to throw at each other. They don't know how to talk and just walk. They can't find the time. The better weapon's the mind, and I'm armed to the teeth.
Ooh. Good. Oh,
yes.
You
Alrighty.
want to say hi to some folks?
Hold on 1 second. All right.
Okay. So
What you got?
I got a poem I wrote, oh gosh, a few years back. This is something I wrote for Elizabeth Warren back in 2017, and it's called She Persisted. She was warned, she was given an explanation, nevertheless, she persisted. And that was Senator Mitch McConnell. She persisted. Binders full of women, Latina, African American, white, transgender, gay, hole-punched all of us, paraded for your agenda, served up for your pleasure, skull-bridled in an iron mask, padlocked, depressing our tongues, crazy emotion and shrill voices, we bite at the bridle. Sweetie, you'd be much prettier if you smiled. Silence need not equal silence. We have choices. Oh, we nasty women, centuries of us, the smell of us in our words, our sex, our power, our voices, strapped and dunked and sunk. We rise. We nasty. We trashy. No, we persisted. Those words may well be my first tattoo. After the scars heal, it will be pink and perfect. And that's called She Persisted.
Nice. All right. What else do we have here? I'm going to set you down again. Poems.
We're taking a short commercial break here.
Short commercial break. We're standing here in front of the big blue cock here at the Sculpture Garden.
Socially distancing.
Socially distancing.
Wait, arms. Socially distancing.
All right. So let's do this so that I'm not facing the sun, because that's dumb. There we go. That's a little better. And now you can see the rooster. That's what I mean by the big blue cock. It's a rooster. Here. Out. All right. I'm going to find... Okay. I think this is, I want to make sure that this is by, nope.
Oh, that's from one of your friends.
Yep. I'm going to read another piece from Jason Rehberg. I knew him in Kansas City, though he lives in Salina, Kansas now. All right. I want to make sure it's not like super dirty. All right. This poem is Mocking You, it's called, by Jason Rehberg. This poem starts from a postcard, from a place that no longer exists, found in a book never finished. The book Boccaccio's Decameron. The postcard, a view of Main Street, Studley, Kansas. Boccaccio whereabouts unknown. Studley, Kansas, 100 years beneath a lake. This poem will have cold pizza and orange juice for breakfast, followed by 3 steep cups of gritty, black, atomic mud while sifting through John Lee Hooker's Blues, the 1952 Farmer's Almanac, Lowrider Magazine, and the local classifieds. For something new to chew on, something to stoke the languished ember of hope, something to clip out and keep its musty scrapbook of a brain something to fly on the end of a string in the middle of a wicked summer thunderstorm. This poem will slowly begin to accumulate strange names and phone numbers in its pockets, coffee stains in its margins, wrinkles in its face, stress fractures in its logic. This poem will be wadded up and banished from the court, mauled by a one-eyed, 3-legged tomcat named Lucky Ned, rescued, reconstructed, rehabilitated, and then put back in the running with a new lease on life. Later, upon closer examination, it will be discovered to have developed night vision and a website with no domain. This poem will break its chains and jump the fence and wander snuffle freely through the dark, haunted forests of young girls' dreams. This poem will pay fines for pissing on the Washington Monument, Grant's Tomb, the Alamo, the George Brett Superhighway, and the Ronald Reagan Memorial something or another.
Yes.
This poem will do time for attempting to bribe public officials, release itself on its own recognizance, and go joyriding in a 62 Purple Impala, returning it unharmed at dawn. This poem will have itself forwarded to the great unknown, be found in a bottle on the shore of the Galapagos, and leave a near identical copy of itself to ride out the rest of the 21st century, folded up inside the left breast pocket of Joe Bonanno's overcoat. This poem will saturate the matrix and circle the globe, seemingly unnoticed. Then finally, when it's used up all its privileges and favors, made too many of the wrong enemies, burned too many bridges, and racked up way too much debt, it will unexpectedly erupt into an unfathomable mushroom cloud of chain letters, computer viruses, and nagging late-night suspicions, leaving the world radically altered forever. More or less.
Whoa. This is, shameless plug, a poem from my book.
It's probably backwards, so you might want to tell them the name. And you want to speak up, because...
The book is called Peggy Sue Messed Up, and this is a poem that I wrote the day I turned 50. Ugh. And everyone talks about, we read Gulliver's Travels, and everyone remembers the little tiny people and the giant big people, but the book that no one ever really likes to talk about, and the horse people, they don't like to talk about book 4, which is the Struldbrugs, the people that, they just don't die. So, this is a poem I wrote at a wine bar in Darien, Connecticut, where I came from, God help me, and it's called Struldbrug at the Wine Bar. Forever. What does that mean? The gray shadows hiss their threat. I have no idea what that implies. Women younger than I have asked the same and heard the same hollow echo from the void of marriage, children, careers. The nameless server, tidy white shirt, pressed trousers, he pours my wine. The glasses rattle, the clatter clacks from the tin ceilings, frozen in time, selfies of ourselves, Botox grins and masks. What would you do if you could live forever? Well, There would be more money in the coffers. I would read more books. I would have an island in the Aegean. There would be more passion. What will you do when your time is done? Don't you see? My days, they do not end. Ever practical, I brush my hair forward to cover that mark of the eternal immortal, my birthright. Separated from friends, from family, the shadows of dead lovers dance in mirrors, and the ghosts of ones who never were reflect back, taunting me. You've reached that age. Your time is up. Strolled rug at the wine bar. A true story.
All right. Hello. I'm going to try a different
And
angle
the
here.
wind is like right here.
Maybe this will be better for wind for them.
I'm pennying up now.
And maybe you can actually see me. Nope, still silhouette. Sorry.
Maybe if we go over to the spoon.
No,
the wind is
it'll
gonna
be just wind.
nasty.
At least we have a little bit of a block here. So this is another piece from my book, Aging and Other Side Projects. It's called The Loose Loop in My Sweater. Actually, you know what? I don't want to read that one. It's a downer, and I don't feel like it. All right, let's try this one. It's called A Small Amount of Humility. Starts with a quote. Where's my other quote? It's getting cold out here, guys.
Yeah. And there's no bathrooms, so
So this show is almost over, is what we're
yeah,
saying.
what we're saying is we both got to pee.
All right, a small amount of humility. True humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less, by C.S. Lewis. The clock is ticking. The noise should be constant, but it should hit the beat all the time, but it's tick, tick, tick. Then it's tick, 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 and suddenly your heartbeat no longer lines up. You feel as though you're dying by the second or the half second. It really depends on when that tick happens. Feeling death or thoughts of dying is what we do after 40. We balance whether or not this cheeseburger is worth the extra 30 minutes it's taking. It is, by the way. In my last 30 minutes, I'll be remembering all the forgotten meals consumed in front of the television. People in life encourage humility. They tell you, be humble in sports, for it's only a game. They tell you, be humble to your family, for they are the ones who will love you whether or not you ever improve. They tell you, be humble before God because, well, I'm not really sure. And also, screw that. When I die, I want people to be so shocked that they shut down like a soldier who developed PTSD as a child. When I die, I want there to be a service so grand that people wish they could have had an invite. When I die, I want it to create a hole so big that physics can't fill it. I want everything I've ever written to be read to children again, even the swear words, because you should only trust people who curse. I want my stuff to have a presence on eBay. I want a fireworks ceremony so I can scare the crap out of my cats one last time. I want to be the character that everyone is pissed is gone next season. And I want a memorial bench. So now I can support you. I know I haven't always. Look, when all we're given is this murderous teacher named time, when all we have is what we leave behind, it shouldn't surprise you that I want some immortality as much as I can get. Who's selling it? Where can I buy it? You want to be loved in life. I want to be loved eternally. I want you to remember me smiling and then laughing so hard that I make zero noise. I want you to remember how blue my eyes were when the sun finally came out. And I want that clock to hit the seconds like it's supposed to. Every single time. My heart doesn't like the spaces.
Woo!
Read one more for us.
One more. I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but this is a poem of mine from Peggy Sue Messed Up, and again, another true story. This one is, this happened to me for real when I was 15. This one is called Demon Dialing the Eagles. Desperado, why don't you go to bed? You have all these songs in your head. You're 15. You're going to be Patti Smith, Andy Warhol's next superstar, fabulous and feathered in leopard skin hat, teetering on the stage edge, mic in hand, ready to shriek. But they hand you a fucking tambourine, tell you that's who you are. The lead singer's accessory, they make it easy to take it easy. Baby blue, rotary phone. When it's cold, I can't turn the page. Let me start that stanza again. Baby blue, rotary phone. Baby blue, manual typewriter. Baby girl, Sony radio. You, like the late night talk show, call in and talk to the band. Small hands, demon dialing, rotary long distance, big busy signals, over and over again. And finally, hello, Mr. Glenn Fry. I'm just 15, and it's 1 a.m. I listen to you all the time. The DJ tells me to turn my radio down, and there are so many things I want to ask you about, my favorite songs, because I am 15, and you know me better than me. And yes, I did get to talk to Glenn Fry on WPLJ New York City, the summer of 1980.
Nice.
Yeah.
Susan
Cossette.
Susan Cossette. And I am Tony.
Wait, sort of socially distance out. Bye.
Bye. Well, and I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him the sculpture garden here a little bit.
Okay.
So over there, Basilica. You know, we got the sculpture garden, which in the summertime is really, really nice. Wintertime, it's a little cold and barren. There's the famous Cherry and Spoon water fountain, which of course isn't on. The Walker Art Center. And we've been doing this here poetry reading beneath a giant blue cock.
I think there's
and I think there's nothing else to say besides I like doing poetry on